Let's talk about The Sims because The Sims is something that gets brought up every couple of months now, where people want to. I don't really know what it is, man. I don't really know what it is. I don't understand the fear that people have regarding The Sims. I don't get the desire and the need for Sims to be that ideologically driven game. I understand that Sims has always been this way for the most part, and it just gets worse and worse as time goes on. And it's fine, whatever. That's their game. They can have fun with The Sims. I'm not a Sims player, but Full Metal says what? Sims isn't gay enough? No, it's not about being gay enough. It's about maintaining the gay, right? So what it is, let me give you some backstory for those of you that might have just came in. Maybe you weren't in the beginning of the stream. The backstory is that EA is being bought out by Saudi Arabia. Okay. And the deal, for the most part, is in the final stages of being approved, right? Like the deal is going to be approved as long as the US government allows it to happen, right? So players of The Sims have been making their voices heard in terms of their concern about the potential removal of diversity, equity, and inclusion content, if you want to put it like that, DEI content inside The Sims, because The Sims is known for a lot of their DEI oriented stuff. You know, like The Sims was one of the first games ever to introduce trans cars, which, by the way, it was introduced by the same director that made Dragon Age the Veilguard that also had trans cars. So, you know, just put the two and two together at that point. But anyway, so The Sims has been known for having that level of content. And the players that are, I guess, all about that, they're very desperate to make sure that remains the way that it is, right? So once the Saudi deal got announced, these players thought, oh my God, all of that's going to go away. Because obviously they think that if the Saudis get in charge of EA, then all the DEI stuff is going to go away. Which, to be honest with you, I feel like that's a pretty fair assessment, considering that they're buying the company and taking it private, which means they're going to have no idea what the fuck is going to be going on. They're going to have no idea, right? Because the company is not going to have to answer to any investors, any shareholders, none of that shit. They're going to, it's going to be a massacre. The moment that company goes private, it is going to be a massacre, right? At least from a layoff standpoint. So nobody's going to know what's going to happen. So the panic is pretty real. Now, the damage control is at its maximum, right? Hold on. Had to cough real quick. The damage control is at its maximum, where they're doing everything they can to ensure the players that everything's going to be the same. Now, to be fair, they're not just doing this with The Sims, but they're doing this majority with The Sims, because it seems like it's just the Sim players that are freaking out, right? Everybody's also saying that, oh, things are going to change for the other games, whatever, but they're not really as worried about it like The Sims. So we have this comment here over at Games Radar, and it says, The Sims has always been more than a game. Maxis says that its values aren't changing amid EA's buyout as it works on the next evolution of the series. The Sims team creative control, guided by our values of inclusivity, choice, creativity, community, and play, has not changed. Interesting. Here we go. Let's go. Where is it at? Right here. The life simulators working at Maxis have stressed that the developers behind The Sims are still committed to inclusivity, still maintain the same level of creative control, and are still focused on single player experiences with its next evolution as we head into the new year. The public statement and promises about the future were perhaps motivated by worries around EA's impending $55 billion buyout, which would see Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners become private owners, leaving the publisher $20 billion in debt. As IGN previously reported, several The Sims 4 content creators quit EA's creative network in response to the news, citing long-term concerns about the values of the company's soon-to-be owners. So this is the level of meltdown that has been happening right now, where you have content creators that are specifically all about The Sims quitting the game that makes them money because of some sort of ideology confliction or something like that. Whatever, right? Yeah, the debt's pretty wild, man. $20 billion in debt starting off. That's pretty crazy. But anyway, I'm sure they're going to be fine. At least they think they are anyway. So with all these people quitting, it's pretty obvious that there has been a massive concern at the Sims level. And they are trying to convince everybody, no, don't quit. Everything's fine. We're still going to keep doing all the shit that we've been doing already. Maxis took to his blog to write the following. The Sims has always been more than just a game. It's a canvas for life in all its unpredictable forms. The chaotic moments, the tiny joys, the big dreams, every identity, every version of you. And thanks to you, The Sims has grown into something bigger than we ever imagined. A living world bursting with creativity, expression, humor, chaos, and heart. The studio goes on to say that the team's creative control, guided by our values of inclusivity, choice, creativity, community, and play, has not changed, promising that those values will continue into the future. Now, here's what I will say. As this all sounds really nice, right? This all sounds really nice, and it's corporate speak, and they're doing PR damage control. What I will tell you, for the people who are Sims players, if you are worried about DEI, what I will say is that you should probably be concerned, even if they're telling you not to be. Because here's the thing. Once this company goes private, guess what? Oh, it's over. Like, it's game on. Because they don't have to answer to anybody. Once they go private, they don't answer to anybody whatsoever. Within reason. But they don't answer to anybody. So the moment they get control and those shareholders are paid and there is no longer any investors, that's it. If they want to fire you, you're gone. If they want to get rid of this shit, it's gone. So whatever's going to be in The Sims 5 is going to be from the Saudi perspective. So that could be woke, that could not be woke. I don't know. Who knows? But if you're thinking about potentially quitting because you think of, something's going to happen, then you might as well just quit, because at this point something probably will happen. Let it happen. Yeah, of course. Of course, you should probably just play Inzoi. They don't want to play Inzoi. They don't want to play Inzoi. They want to play The Sims because The Sims matches whatever they virtue signal with online. These people are not just content creators. A lot of them are activists as well. And they utilize The Sims to push whatever the hell they want to be pushing. And the truth is that The Sims is that kind of game. It just is. Right? The Sims has always had all of that shit in it. So to change it now does seem a little bit silly, because I feel like that kind of would go against whoever's still playing The Sims, right? The Sims is one of those video games. It's kind of like Barbie was for the movies, where Barbie was so successful because women actually showed up to watch it. You know how Star Wars and all these other IPs that are male focused have been pandering to women to get them to go watch the movies in the theaters, and the movies keep doing worse and worse and worse because women are just not showing up the way that they thought they were going to show up? Well, that wasn't the case for Barbie, because women actually wanted to show up, right? So it's the same thing with The Sims. They show up for The Sims, right? Whatever woke players that are left playing The Sims, they're showing up playing The Sims. They're showing up monetarily supporting the game. So to abandon them would probably be pretty stupid. I don't think that The Sims is going to necessarily be the kind of game that anybody else other than these kind of people are going to probably want to play. And anybody that may necessarily not be a woke psychopath but still plays The Sims, well, they're okay what's in the game because there's options for them, right? So I don't know. It's just one of those. It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things where, like, this particular game is a game that kind of does make all of their players happy. So to remove that aspect, I think you would be rocking the boat on this one. But we'll see anyway. People say just mod the game. Yeah, of course you could just mod the game, but a lot of people aren't modders. See, that's the thing. When people say just mod the game, I don't like that mindset, because number one, that means that you're leaving it up to the players to fix the problems, and that's very lazy on the development side of things. I feel like players should not be fixing problems. The developers should be fixing problems. And number two, for me, I'm not a modder. So, and other people who aren't modders. So if you're not a modder, then what, he just asked out? You're gonna say, well, become a modder. I don't want to. Like it's not for me. So I don't know. This situation is It's a complex one. But I'll say this: the fact that they're freaking out about this, and the fact that they're making statements, posting on their blog, and all kinds of shit about, oh, we promised the game's not going to change. I'm telling you right now, these people that are making these promises, they're probably not going to be around once Saudi Arabia gets their hands on EA. I'm telling you right now, it's probably not going to happen. So it's literally just empty promises from people that either are not going to be around for much longer, or people that are going to be around, but they're going to be held by a leash. You know? So we'll see what ends up happening with The Sims, but that's just where we're at with that game. So we got the Gaming Wolf with 5 months. The only real competition for The Sims and EA now is Paralives. Paralives can be EA's real competition from an indie game team in Canada. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of Paralives. Anybody heard of Paralives before? I haven't heard of that. Is that on Steam? Let me see. What the fuck is Paralives? Let's see. Paralives. Oh, it is on Steam. What the fuck is this? Oh my God, bro. Bro, I just know the women in the chat right now are going crazy. They're going crazy in the chat right now. Their cozy jeans inside their body are just bursting. They're bursting. They can't contain themselves. Bro, what the fuck is this? What am I looking at? Oh, shit. Wait a second. This is definitely for women. Wait. So now you could role play being emotional, crying on the bathroom floor, instead of actually being emotional and crying on the bathroom floor. Or you could do both. You could cry on the bathroom floor, and then you could go in the game and then pretend and be emotional about crying on the bathroom floor. And not only that, hold on. Not only that, but you could role play your favorite thing in life, which is to make every man fucking miserable. That is, look at this shit. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is top tier female content. You could role play the most favorite thing in the world for a woman to do, which is to make a man fucking miserable. This is insane. This is unbelievably accurate. Women are going to play the shit out of this. Women are going to, I'm telling you guys. Wow, this is going to be very successful. The Sims got nothing on this shit. Oh my God. Wow. This looks like a Latina yelling at her black boyfriend. They promised to be different from everybody else. I told you to stop fucking with that bitch. And you stay fucking with that bitch. Bitch. And he's like, yeah, I know. But you love me. No, I told you, Tyrone, stop fucking with that bitch. I'm pregnant. It's crazy, man. Unbelievable. Holy fuck. I'm not even going to go back on that one. Oh, wait, gay relationship confirmed? Yo, they're hitting all, bro. Wow, this is great marketing. This is actually great marketing. I'm not going to lie to you. They're hitting all the points. Everything to get women to play. They're hitting all the points. Virtue signaling, emotions, making men miserable, buying shit nonstop. organizing your house in all kinds of ways that make no sense. This shit is amazing. Wow. Yeah, no, this is gonna be a massive hit.